It's day 436 of quarantine, and by golly, we've been getting on just fine, haven't we, Professor Doctor?
Sure have. This hand washing every 10 minutes, avoiding all physical contact, and holding my breath when I walk outside to get the mail are all second nature to me.
OCD has got us covered once again.
Seriously, folks, we may be the most prepared people for this pandemic.
Hypochondria keeps me alert to any symptoms that could definitely be corona. I coughed a few days ago and haven't left my room since. That's called being smart.
And my fear of general contamination keeps me acting like I'm the boy in the plastic bubble. Except a girl.
But you already get the idea. We don't want to keep our expert knowledge to ourselves. We want our fears to help people. Way back in episode 1, we gave you some tips for extra ways to protect yourself.
But today, we wanted to discuss the issue of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, did you know there's such a thing as too much hand sanitizer?
I definitely did not.
If you overdo it, there's a chance they'll end up killing the germs you need to keep you healthy, ultimately lowering your body's natural defenses.
Irony is awful.
And that's not the only protection that could turn on you.
I always thought my super dry hands were a sign of good hygiene, but I just found out that cracked skin can make you more susceptible to absorbing some surface-borne viruses.
But hey, that's okay. That nothing is safe and everything is terrifying. There are loopholes to every rule, and we're here to find them.
So, too much hand sanitizer weakens the good germs on your hands. That's fine. There are other ways to ingest it.
You may have heard of a certain U.S. president suggests that we inject disinfectant directly into our bloodstream.
But frankly, that sounds a little much.
Come on. Who likes needles? You can have fun with this.
Make yourself a mean Purell cocktail to go with dinner. Being mostly alcohol-based, you'll get a buzz to go with cleaning your insides.
A little lemon on top helps it go down smoother.
Ooh, some mint.
Cranberry chaser.
That sounds amazing.
Not a drinker? Well, then who's hungry? A box of Clorox wipes will do the trick. It's said they feel like marshmallows in your mouth.
And I know you've been trained to overwash your hands. Definitely don't stop doing that.
Even if they start bleeding.
But here's how we can keep washing our hands all the live-long day without worrying our dry skin will betray us. It's time to break out those winter gloves. Break back out, I guess. They're cozy, they're cute, and they'll take the brunt of the water while washing your hands. See, that way, you're still doing the compulsion, I mean necessary action, but the mittens will get soggy and gross before your hands do.
There's one more concern that's been brought to our attention. Apparently, staying indoors and avoiding the outside world at all costs can also eventually be a detriment to your health. Vitamin D deficiency can lower your immune system, which is why people have been taking walks when the weather gets nice.
But my God, do not leave your house, ever, at all.
At least not without proper protection. You all remember those ancient scuba suits made of the big clunky metal that look like they belong in a horror movie? Well, it's time to break those out again too.
We all still have them in our basements, yes?
Of course. Just wear one of those out in your backyard and you'll trick your body into thinking you got all the fresh air and sunshine you need without compromising your morals.
But only stay out for like a minute or two. Don't drive yourself crazy.
Now, as promised, we have a very special guest with us today. She's got her master's in avoiding her problems and PhD in the silent treatment.
And now she's the head of the Side Long Glare Institute. Please welcome Sergeant Lieutenant Kaylie Vezina, Esquire.
I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you for joining us on the show, Kaylie. How have you been coping with the constant reminders of impending doom?
Well, not too well. I have been practicing some glancing outside of my shades. That's something that I've been doing to kind of cope with my fear. I've also looked into investing into night vision goggles, as I do believe that a lot happens at night, and it's good to be able to see it.
Kaylie, let me ask you, what's the best anxious thought that you've had today?
There was a bug
Mm.
on the ceiling, and I watched it. I watched it climb across the ceiling, and then it smacked onto my pillowcase, and I thought, what if it just walks into my mouth?
Oh, oh dear. You gotta watch out for bugs. They'll get into any orifice.
Have you tried sewing up your mouth? Just needle and thread? That's what a lot of experts are saying would work.
That sounds like an excellent method that I would love to try. I do have another method I've been thinking about using and actually doing some research on for the Sidelong Glare Institute.
Mhm.
It is putting a tissue in your mouth to cover it up.
Can you give us an example of that? Or?
Oh, absolutely. I have a tissue right here.
Oh, so prepared.
Presentation, little visual aid.
Yes. So see what she's doing? She's actually sucking it into her mouth, which actually provides no possible way that a bug could get in there. And comfortably you can sleep, is that right?
You need
Yes.
to make sure you have the suction.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a thin layer, so you can get some of your stinky breath out, but nothing will come back in.
I'll have to try that this evening.
I think you should. And then I'd love to include you in my paper.
Be honored.
So, Kaylie, I'd have to ask, how do you feel knowing that everyone in the world is just as afraid now as you have always been?
Well, I'm going to be frank with you. Feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people are more understanding of my work, and I'm sure your work as well.
Have you had any outside interactions with other humans who may be feeling these sorts of anxieties that you so specialize in?
I do believe I have. I was taking a walk along the path, and I noticed a woman, and she had very, very small glasses.
Mm.
And I turned to her and I said, "Small glasses." And she just looked at me and kind of crinkled her eyebrows like I'm doing now. That's a good way to express confusion and maybe a little bit of anxiety. And then she walked away. You know, in the midst of a global pandemic, it's really important to remember that you're a part of a community.
Of course, that's beautiful, Sergeant. Would you say that you know more about fear than others do?
Well, yes, I've been doing a lot of reading, and when I'm done with a page, I like to crumple it up and just eat it.
Kaylie, what would you like to say to viewers who might be struggling with their own anxieties during this time? What is a message you would like to get out to them?
Find a bird. Listen to that bird. Learn to speak like the bird.
Wise words from a sergeant, lieutenant, and esquire. Kaylie will be joining us for our last segment. That's right. It's time to break out the Fearinator.
Now, last week we calculated the best possible outcomes to the fears you submitted. This time we're trying out a new feature where we run the numbers on the worst possible outcomes for the worry becoming real.
Like the absolute worst. Worse than even you may have imagined.
Now, you sent some new fears to us this week, and we can't wait to try them out. So we actually sent Kaylie her very own Fearinator in the mail. So she's actually going to be reading our first viewer fear out loud and then taking it for a spin for the worst possible outcome.
Okay. What if my hair gets caught in an escalator and it rips my scalp off?
Okay. For the worst possible outcome, Kaylie, what did you come up with?
What if a man comes up and takes your brain and makes spaghetti out of it for his family of 5 and then doesn't invite you to dinner?
That is pretty awful.
Bad outcome, absolutely. If it's all right, I'm going to read the next user mail. Let's see, we have, this is a common one. What if a bridge collapses while I'm driving on it? Yikes. Okay, everyone ready to plug in?
Ready.
Okay, worst possible outcome. The bridge collapsing while you're driving on it is, not only does the bridge collapse, the earth beneath you opens up and you get sucked into the depths of hell. Where you become one of Satan's minions. Okay. Yeah, not great. Professor Doctor, did you want to field the last viewer question?
Yes, let's see what we have here. Oh, it's a good one. What if the coronavirus was an elaborate hoax just to keep me from having a social life and everyone is in fact hanging out without me?
Yeah, okay.
That's
Sure,
definitely possible.
I've thought about it.
Oh.
All right, so what did you come?
Yep, it says here, well, if that's true, then it means nobody likes you.
We really want to thank Sergeant Lieutenant Kaylie Vezina, Esquire, for joining us today to talk to us a little bit about your anxiety and your fear and your expert knowledge. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been my great pleasure.
Be sure to send in any of your irrational fears, anxieties to us, either by commenting on this video or sending us a direct message. We would love to feature them in our next video.
We'll be back next week with some more fear.
Goodbye.
Don't forget to like and share this video. Sorry, that was stupid. I said that.